We were interested, of course, in adverse events, and the therokermin or the curcumin was well tolerated. A few people developed some gastrointestinal side effects that tended to be mild, but a few did have to drop out because of these effects. Now, there is no perfect study, and we have a few study limitations here. Of course, these relatively small sample size, even though we saw highly significant results, one has to be cautious in interpreting results from a sample of only 40. This was not a representative sample from the population. It was what we call a convenience sample. And the sample was too small to figure out whether it was the MCI group that was responding more, the normal aging group, or both. But there were also a lot of study strengths. It's unusual to have an 18-month study. Often people will take nutritional supplements for many years, but the studies supporting them may only be a month or two. So we don't know how they work after several years. Targeting non-demented people, I think, was a study, so we can look at protecting healthy brains. The cognitive results were consistent across these different measures. We saw between group differences, that is, when we compared the curcumin versus the placebo group, there were significant results, and the PET scan results supported what we found with the clinical measures. Now, in terms of the PET scan results, we saw that curcumin led to decreased amyloid and tau binding in these two regions. The hypothalamus processes emotional responses. Also, degeneration in the hypothalamus affects other brain regions that are involved in Alzheimer's disease, such as the cortical regions, the frontal lobe, the medial temporal lobe, and the parietal region. The amygdala is involved in memory processing, decision-making, and emotional responses. And previous research from our group has shown that higher FDDMP binding is associated with mood symptoms. As I mentioned, previous studies suggest possible antidepressant and anti-anxiety effects of curcumin. And the curcumin's cognitive benefits could involve these brain regions that control mood and memory. Consistent with this hypothesis was our finding in this study that the curcumin treated subjects had better mood after 18 months. So what do we plan to do next? As a neuroscientist, I'm always thinking about the next study. And our next step is to try to replicate these results in a larger sample, and we're already exploring ways that we can do that, not just at UCLA, but to do multi-site studies, looking at other sites. And in these larger samples, we can get a better idea of the effect of mood, and also whether this affects MCI more than normal aging. We can look more at genetic issues and other factors. So to summarize, these results suggest that daily therokermin ingestion improves memory and attention in non-demented middle-aged and older adults. Curcumin may decrease amyloid and tau accumulation in areas of the brain that control mood and memory. And future research may show that therokermin not only benefits age-related memory decline, but it's possible that it delays the onset of Alzheimer's disease symptoms. And that's another study that we'd like to look at in the future. Please feel free, if I don't answer all your questions today, you can email me and I can try to respond to those questions. Thank you again for your attention, and it's just such a delight to be here.